So, very good morning. Let's start some music going. We'll start with a little mobilizing exercises for our warm up. And then, as I said earlier, we've got a slightly new thing to do today for part of, oops, come on, play. For part of just one section, we'll just try a new position. Yeah, so have a little roll out of the shoulders. And of course, nice and slowly for the yoga session, relaxed, breathing gently. Just turn this music up a little bit. And roll your shoulders back. And a little twist side to side. Let the arms just flop round. Turning your head, looking over your shoulder. Fantastic. Let's take a breath in. And as we breathe in, we'll roll the shoulders back. And take a long breath out and roll the shoulders forwards. So as we breathe in, rolling the shoulders back, we're going to look up towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and then roll the shoulders forwards, exhale, and look down. And we're going to do that a few times just to really wake up the shoulders, tilt the head, get into those long, slow breaths. Fantastic. Let's do a little shrug. So this time we're just going to shrug the shoulders up towards the ears, and then as you exhale, we're going to let them just relax down, drop the hands towards the floor, and again shrug and relax. And a couple more times. Shrug and relax. And shrug and relax. Perfect. Little shake out. Let's loosen up a little bit more on those arms. So let's a little bit more movement, but don't rush it and don't go fast. Nice and slowly. We'll start with one side and we'll start with circles. Big circles, but slowly and gracefully round in a circle. And then we'll turn that into a figure of 8, looping round. Marvellous. Let's do the other side. So start with just the circles, big circle round, slowly, gracefully, just getting movement through that shoulder joint. And then figure of 8, looping round. Fantastic. Let's take one hand onto the hip and we're going to have a big stretch across and reach out. Now hold this position. Okay, make sure you don't tilt your body forwards. Yeah, we want to be sideways on and we want to reach out that hand as far out as you can, and you'll get a nice stretch all the way down the side of your body. And then change to the other side. Excellent. Let's have a little push up onto the toes. So up onto your toes. And as we push up onto the toes, let's take those hands up in the air too and have a big stretch up. making your body as long as you can from toes to fingertips, stretching out and make your body really long or tall. Fantastic. As we drop the heels down, we're going to swing the arms back behind, bend the knees, and then push up again. Hold it for a breath, and then let's do it again. So heels down, bend the knees, swing the arms back, and then push up onto your toes again. Hold it. Let's do that one more time. Heels down, arms back. Fantastic. Push up, stretch up. And slowly lower your arms down, lower your heels down onto the floor. Now we're going to practice, before we do the next section, we're going to practice the pelvic tilt. So you may remember this. Okay, imagine a line all the way around your waist, around your pelvis. That forms the brim of a cup. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the hands onto the hips, and we're going to imagine that that cup is full to the brim with water, and all I want you to do is rotate your hips so you pour water out the front of the cup. So it's all in the hip rotation, so we're just trying to get a little rotation of the pelvis. As you can see, I'm just moving that from front to back. So if you tip it forwards, the line tilts forwards and you're tipping water out the front. And then I want you to tilt it back, so we should get that line tilting back and tipping water out the back. Okay, so we've got anterior pelvic tilt and posterior pelvic tilt. And all I want you to do is go backwards and forwards between those two positions a few times, just to get the feel of the rotation of the pelvis forwards and back. This is going to be very important for our next section, yeah? So we are going to think about that range of motion. And okay, let's stop there. Let's stop there. So we're going to move on, and we're going to do, there's going to be a new position involved in this sequence. So let me just zoom in a little bit on that camera. So on your mat, take your feet nice and wide, yeah? So we're going to stretch those feet out on the mat. As wide as you can. Now it's going to be slightly different for everyone, but you can turn your toes out towards the corners of the mat. Okay, find a comfortable position with those toes pointing slightly outwards. And just hold it for a few seconds. Now, focus in on your feet. Make sure that your body weight is distributed evenly over the whole base of your foot, from your toe to your heel, and from your arch to the outside of the foot. Yeah, just have a little move round and just feel the weight moving around, and try and settle in a nice position where your foot is grounded on the floor. It's going to help when we bend the knees, yeah? So now what I want you to do is just bend the knees slightly. Just bend the knees slightly. Now while we're here, we're going to think about that pelvic tilt. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to tilt the front of the body upwards and the back down. So we're pouring the water out the back of the cup. This is going to keep your back straight. We don't want to be leaning forwards and tilting forwards. We need to be tilting up. So I don't know if you can see, I'm just rotating my hips, and the front comes up, back goes down. Yeah, that's going to keep your back straight. So we've got slightly bent knees, we've got good pelvic tilt position, and all I want you to do is take your hands in front of your heart. And we're just going to hold here for a few breaths. Make sure those knees stay slightly bent. Now this is our starting position. Any knee problems today, you might not want to go any lower, but we're going to try and go a little bit lower down into this position as we progress. Yeah, so Straighten out the legs and relax the arms down. Good. That's part one. Nice and easy. So part two, we're just going to add in a different arm position. So we'll go through it slowly again. Ground the feet down, slight bend of the knees. Make sure those weight distribution is evenly over the whole of the sole of the foot. Check that pelvic tilt is up. That's it, little adjustment there, perfect. Now we're going to open out the chest and bring the arms up for palms facing forwards. And take a couple of breaths. Think about the pelvic tilt, we don't want to be leaning into it. We want to keep the back nice and upright. Okay, with that bend of the knees. Take a couple of inhale, exhale cycles. Fantastic. On the next exhale, we're going to swing the arms around, back up to heart. And then relax, straighten out those legs again. Very good. So the way that we're going to progress this is we're going to go deeper into the pose. We're going to bend those knees more, and we're going to get our body weight lower down to the ground. It's a basic move, but it's quite difficult. It's not easy to maintain the posture while you're sinking down. And I think it's really important that we focus on the pelvic tilt and not going down too low. Gradually, we'll get to the point where we can go really low and keep the body upright, but it's up to you how low you go today, yeah? So let's have another go at this. Let's start with the arms down to the sides, bend the knees a little bit, maybe a little bit more than last time. Pelvic tilt, front of the pelvis comes up, so your back is straight. Okay, let's hold that position, bring your hands to heart. Uses a lot of leg strength, this position. If your legs ache at all, at any point you can release and stop. Let's bring the hands up. You may know we've borrowed this from our yoga friends who call this the goddess pose. So this is the goddess pose. Okay, and we might just want to sink a little bit lower down into the pose if you can. Really good. Margaret, that's excellent. Okay, but remember to keep everyone remember to keep the back straight and upright. Pelvic tilt up, so just bring that front of the pelvis up a little bit. And a couple of breaths here. Fantastic. Bring the arms around, back up to heart. And then stand up straight and bring the arms down to the side. We'll do this once more, and then we'll bring in a forward fold as well to add a little stretch in, yeah? So, if you need to just move around a bit and have a little shake out, that's okay. Okay. So let's go again. Start by bending the knees a little bit. Focus on your weight distribution on your feet. Bring the pelvis up at the front. Okay, let's straighten out the back. Try and keep that pelvic tilt in place as you lower yourself down. I'm a bit too wide there. Lower yourself down, that's better. Now we're going to bring the arms up and hold. Focus and get that pelvic tilt right. I don't know if you noticed, I made a little adjustment there. You just need to remember every now and again just to make sure you get that pelvic tilt correct. Back nice and upright. Take a couple of breaths. Fantastic. Swing the arms around, hands to heart. And straighten out the legs and release. Let's stay here. Let's stay here, but take a big inhale and bring the arms up overhead. And we'll go into a forward fold. So let's get a nice little stretch in through the hamstrings. This is going to help with that pose. So let's just hang down for a few seconds, a few breaths. Let your body hang down. Feel the stretch in your spine, the backs of your legs. Each time you exhale, just sink a little bit lower. If your hands are on the floor, that's amazing. If your elbows are on the floor, that's amazing. If you can't quite reach the floor, don't worry. My fingertips are only just touching the floor, but only just. Fantastic. Let's unfold on an inhale. Big unfold. We're going to swing the arms around, hands to heart, and bend the knees. Fantastic. Open out the chest. Swing the arm round, hand to heart, and stand up. Inhale, arms up, and straight back into forward fold. Hold here for a breath. Keep those knees straight. Feel the stretch in the back of your legs. Fantastic. We're going to unfold on an inhale. Arms up. Exhale, hand to heart. Bend the knees. Tilt the pelvis up at the front. Okay, open up the chest. Very good. Let's go through the sequence one more time. So swing the arms around, hands to heart. Exhale, straighten out the legs, arms down. Inhale, arms up into forward fold. Again, we are going to hold it here for a few breaths. So again, use the exhale to stretch a little bit more. Oh, well, my fingers easily touch the floor. Now, I hope you're finding that you're stretching a little bit more each time. And thumbs as well. I'm happy with that today. A couple of deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. And when you reach your next inhale, we're going to unfold. Bring the arms up. Exhale, hand to heart. Bend the knees. Tilt the pelvis up at the front. Keep that back nice and straight for me. Excellent. Let's open out the chest into our goddess pose. Fantastic. Hold it for a few breaths. Let's hold it here for a little bit longer this time. You'll feel the strength in your legs holding you in position. Hope those knees are okay. Fantastic. Let's swing the arms around, hand to heart. Hold again. Slowly straighten out the legs, arms down. Swing round, inhale, arms up. One final forward fold to finish the sequence. Forward fold. A couple of deep breaths while we're here. On the next inhale, unfold, arms up. Bring your palms together, hand to heart, and release. Very good. I like my goddesses today, but looking very good. So well done on that sequence. We're now going to do a short sequence. It's not really a sequence. We're just going to practice our downward dogs, I'm afraid. So I'm not really afraid. It's a good one. It's good to do these. So let's just tilt that up a little bit. Move to the end of the mat, facing outwards. Can't see my head now. Let's take an inhale and bring your arms up. And an exhale, forward fold. So slightly different to the forward fold we did earlier because the feet are a bit closer together. So you might find you can't get quite as low down. to the floor. Now we're going to inhale, release a little bit, just straighten out a little bit, and then as we exhale, hands all the way down to the floor and step back into high plank. So just take a moment to check your body's in a nice straight line, shoulders, hips and ankles in a straight line. Take a breath here. Now slowly we're going to push back into downward facing position. So push your hips up towards the ceiling, push your heels down towards the floor, push your shoulders back, head between your arms. Now, if you can get your heels on the floor, that's amazing, but if they don't touch the floor, you don't need to worry. Just hold the position for a few breaths. Let's move back into high plank. Hold for a few breaths. We're just going to go backwards and forwards a couple of times between plank and downward dog. So let's push back again. Hold for a couple of breaths. Sink those heels down towards the floor if you can. Excellent. Back into plank. And we'll do one more before we stand up. Push back, hips up. Lower the heels down so we get a stretch through the backs of the legs. Okay, and then we're going to take a big step forwards, or a walk forwards will be fine. And then bring the other foot forwards and stand up slowly. Unfold. And then bring the arms down. Cool. We are going to do that again. So only one more time through, I think, on this. And we'll just go forwards and backwards between the plank and the downward dog. So relax the shoulders. Take a breath. And with me, big inhale as we bring the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Let's just hang here for a moment, letting that back stretch out, letting your body relax, just hanging down. Your hands are on the floor, amazing, but don't worry if they don't quite reach. So we're going to release on an inhale. We're going to drop the hands onto the floor on an exhale, bending the knees if you need to. Step back. And into a high plank again. Hold here for a couple of breaths. We're really going to focus now on, as we push back, pushing those heels down towards the floor. Yeah, so lift your hips up, push back, push those heels down. That's going to help straighten out those legs. Push your shoulders back, head down between your arms. Hold for a few seconds. Ooh, that's better. Fantastic. Back into plank. Good for the core, this position. Working your core muscles, holding you in your plank position. Let's push back again into downward dog. Push back, heels down. Push the hips back. Hold for a few breaths. Fantastic. Back into plank. We're going to do one more. So hips come up, heels down, push back. Heels are getting close to the floor. If your heels are on the floor, that's really good. Don't worry if they're not. Back into plank. Big step forwards, or just walk it forwards if you need to. And slowly unfold, bringing your arms up towards the sky. And a big exhale, bringing your arms down, back down to your sides again. Fantastic. Have a little shake out. Excellent. Now, let's just let's just do that. There we go. So we've done goddess, we've done downward dog. We're going to spend a little bit of time on our lunges again today. We've done lunges before, so you'll know the sequence. Quite a challenging position, some of these positions, so we'll take it through slowly. We've got plenty of time on this. So we'll start off again, feet towards the outside of the mat, facing outwards down the length of the mat. And we're going to start by taking one big step back with one foot, as far back as you can. And we're going to keep the body upright. We're going to bend that front knee, keep the back leg straight. The back heel will be off the floor. Okay, so with our lunge, we're keeping both sets of toes pointing forwards down the length of the mat. We've got the feet sort of offset, one side of the mat and the other side of the mat, so we're nice and stable. And we're going to bring the arms up overhead, palms facing towards each other, back leg straight, bend the front knee a little bit more so we sink down into the pose. Perfect. Let's hold it here for a few seconds. So we're going to bring the arms back behind, stretch them back, and then forwards again, but this time reach out in front and push forwards. Thinking about pushing those, whoops, lost my balance. Think about pushing those arms as far forwards as you can away from you, stretching out into that lunge. Fabulous. Now, hands down onto the floor, either side of that front foot, into our sprinting position, ready to sprint off on a race. Now if your right foot is forward, you're going to lift your right hand off the floor. If your left foot is forwards, you're going to lift your left foot off your left hand off the floor, and you're going to twist up. So we're aiming to keep the back leg straight, front knee on about 90 degrees, hands on 6 o'clock, one arm straight down, one arm straight up. Hold that for a few breaths. Fantastic. Let's bring that hand down. Bring the back knee onto the floor. That feels better. With the back knee on the floor, we're going to raise the hands up over the head once more. Fantastic. And then as we bring the hands down, we're going to step forwards back into our starting position. And we're going to start again. My mat seems to be moving around on the floor on its own. So let's do the other side. Take the other leg back. Other leg goes back behind into our lunge position. Check the alignment of the toes pointing forwards. Bend the front knee and bring your hands up overhead. Fantastic. We're going to swing the arms behind you once and then out in front and push forwards. Hands to the floor and twist up again. I've just realised I'm doing the same side again. Should have done the other side. I'll do the other side next time. Fantastic. Hand comes down, back knee onto the floor. Arms up. We're just stretching back a little bit, pushing those hands back behind you, and then bring your arms down, step forwards again. I'm going to try and remember which side I've done and do the other side now. Okay, arms down slowly. We're just going to be adding in one extra part on this this next sequence, but we'll start the same. So let's take a big step back. Back nice and straight. Sink down. Back leg straight. Back heel off the floor. All your weight is pretty much over that front foot. Lower yourself down. Raise your hands up. Fantastic. Bring the hands behind and then swing them forwards and reach out in front, pushing forwards as far as you can, reaching those fingertips out towards the opposite wall, reaching out. Fantastic. Hands to the floor, and we'll do our twist again. Twisting up. Fantastic. Bring your hand down, back knee onto the floor, and stretch up. Arms up, push back behind you. Now, if your left foot is forwards, you're going to rest the back of your right hand against the outside of your left leg and stretch the other hand round. If your right leg is forwards, you're going to put your left hand to the side of the outside of the leg and swing your right arm round. Hold it for a couple of breaths. Fantastic. Swing back round to the front and stand yourself up. And we'll do the other side. So, start by taking a step back. Bend the front knee, lower yourself down into your lunge. Back leg is straight, arms come up. Fantastic. Swim the arms behind you and then stretch out in front, pushing forwards. Nice big stretch. Fantastic. Hands down onto the floor, and we'll start by twisting up with the back leg straight. Hold it for a second, a few breaths. Fantastic. Bring the hand down, bring the back knee onto the floor. Arms come up, stretch back. So if your right leg is forwards, back of your left hand to the outside of that leg, and we're gonna twist round. Use the hand to push yourself round. Other arm out horizontal. Fantastic. Back round to the front. Step forward, stand up. Hands up. And finally bring your hands down to the sides. Just to finish the sequence, we're just going to now see how flexible we are with a final forward fold, but feet close in this time. So with your feet close together, inhale, bring your arms up. And let's exhale, forward fold. See how flexible we are now. So yeah, some of you will have your hands on the floor. Some of you won't be anywhere near, but don't worry. Keep those legs straight. Let your fingers hang down. Especially when you exhale, it's good to just lower yourself down a little bit more each time you exhale. Slowly breathing in and out, sinking down a little bit more each time. It comes as a surprise to me when suddenly I touch my toes. Fantastic. Let's take a final unfold as we inhale. Slowly, slowly unfold. And finally exhale, bringing your hands down and then back up to heart position. Yes, very good. And release. All we have left to do is some stretches. Yay. So I'm going to get down onto the floor again. We're going to do cat-cow, of course, because that's a really good way to finish our session. So back onto the mat, hands and knees. And we'll start with a cat stretch. So arch your back up towards the ceiling, let your head hang down in front. Nice big stretch. Fantastic. Let's reverse it into cow. Tummy comes down, head up. Lower back is concave now. Reverse again into cat. Arch your back up nice and high. And back down into cow position. Tummy comes down, head comes up. One more time into cat. Last time, last stretch in cat pose. And finally last into cow, tummy down, head up. Back into neutral. Maybe take your knees a little bit wider. Sit back onto your heels. We'll do child's pose, stretch your arms out in front. Chest comes down towards the floor. Just going to hold here for a few breaths. Sinking down, letting your body just sink down into the floor. Fantastic. Slowly bring your body up into neutral again. And we are going to stand up. Guys, I want you to take your time standing up. So no rush. Slowly onto your knees. Slowly onto your feet. And finally, we'll just have a few little roll rounds of the shoulders to bring our session to a close. And the other way. And finally, let's just take a nice deep inhale, bringing your hands up in front of your heart or your chest. And then a final exhale and release the hands down to the side. Very well done. That brings us to our end of our session. So I hope you found that interesting. Interesting. Not sure if that's the right word. Hope you found that you're feeling flexible and invigorated, ready for the day ahead, and relaxed and calm and chilled out. So I'll see you. Oh yes, tonight we've got an extra class tonight, 7 o'clock. A bit more energetic than this. We're doing our body beats class at 7 on a Wednesday now, so tonight's the first one. It's free to join. You can watch it, you can join in, you can see what it's like. 7 o'clock on Zoom. So hopefully you might join us. And otherwise, I'll see you on Friday for Sprightly and next week for more of this. Take care, guys, and let's have a little chat on Zoom. Let's have a little chat on Zoom. Oh. I'm all sweaty. I don't know why. It's only yoga. It's only yoga. It's not. Yoga's tough, isn't it? For me, it is.